On this news, the first one is HDZero released a goggle, or at least for pre-order, they released a goggle, and a bunch of users decided to report on the totals because you were able to see them if you type in
Oh.
a bigger number and you hit apply, it tells you how many were left. So users were tracking the goggle sales over the time there, and through the different data points that were had and stuff, we got a post. It looks like it took around 40 hours to sell the goggles, and nobody knows how many they started with. But I would guess somewhere 350 plus, but we don't really know if it was. It could be as much as 500, could be as little as 350 probably.
So this is the number of goggles left, 315 units left at 10 minutes after launch, which they got by just trying to buy 99999 units and seeing how many they could.
Correct.
That's why we don't know where they started.
Yeah, and I didn't see anybody update with official numbers or anything, so we just have to speculate. But they could have sold, who knows, 150 in the first 10 minutes. We really don't know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Sold out in 40 hours, at least 315. Could be more.
Yeah.
I mean, it is more than 315. It's however many they sold in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, could it theoretically be 1,000? Seems like a stretch.
That seems like a lot. Yeah, I would say the max is probably 500 or 600 is where that first number was at, and then they sold a few hundred in that first 10 minutes if at the most. But yeah, we really don't know. So maybe we'll see figures from that at some point. But yeah, we do have at least this idea to see. We got a pretty good sales tick there. People were steadily buying them for pretty much the whole time until they sold out. So that does look like a pretty good sign for when they release finally, because these are pre-orders. People had to pre-order these too, so they're ordering something they're not even going to get right away. So.
Yeah, the HDZero goggles, very exciting. I will be getting a set and reviewing them. I am looking forward to checking them out. Checking out the new 90 FPS camera too. HDZero trading resolution for frame rate. I think it's 540p resolution, 90 FPS, which many people, I've always said that to me, HDZero, the signal is 720p. All of the pixels are real. But if you actually look at the amount of detail in the image, it doesn't feel like a 720p image to me. And I've said it feels like maybe about 540p-ish. So for them to go down to 540p, I wonder if you actually really even lose that much.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what you get there, because as we've talked about, there's no buffer in there. They're not doing compression, so it's kind of all passed through. So yeah, I would definitely be interested to see the difference and how much loss there really is, or what the change is there. So for sure.
Yeah.
But you can, if you've got these goggles coming or you plan on buying them, you can definitely check that out.
Yeah. Curious how many of the people who bought these goggles are buying them because they're excellent analog goggles and don't own HDZero. There's no way for us to know that, but I bet it's at least one person.
For sure. I would guess it's quite a few people. Yeah.
There are relatively few really good analog goggles still being made. I mean, we've got the Orca HD1 pilot, or the Orca FPV1 pilot. We've got the Skyzone, excuse me, Skyzone Skyo 4X, of course. The HDO2 still being made? I think so.
Yep. They just did a new version with better adjustments on the bottom, so they're definitely making it. Yeah.
Oh, that's what the 2.1 is.
Yep.
Is that newsworthy? Let's see.
It's I don't know. There's new knobs on the bottom of the HDO2, if that's interesting, for sure. So
some people. Oh,
yeah,
anyway.
HDO2 V2.1.
So having another really up-to-date analog goggle, HDMI input, all that stuff, very, very interesting. It's, of course, going to be... When are they supposed to ship?
I'm not sure if I've seen an actual official date. I've seen a bunch of around dates, but I don't... Maybe somebody in chat can tell us. Because I've seen a few different dates, like the 14th of next month, I heard, and then the end of the month, and then I'm not sure what the exact date is. I assume people who are buying them are getting a date. So
that's sooner than I would have thought. I would have thought after the new year, but sounds like it's really December 15th. Says Bobby Bags.
Yeah, 15th of December. That's So if that's correct, then it just won't be too long.
That's what people are saying in the Discord as well. Okay. Yes, Brundlefly, you can use them Angel Misu, you can use them for analog. In fact, they have a module bay that attaches to the side, hangs off the side of the goggles, and they have the best analog deinterlacer of any analog goggle around today.
Yeah. Will be very good for analog, especially because it's it's a good quality screen, and then it's again that like you said, that deinterlacing solution that's tied into the screen and in the main chip, so that should do it much better. You shouldn't get any artifacting or lines in that when it's doing that deinterlacing.
Yeah. Okay. HDZero has some insight. They are selling the analog module bay adapter separately. He says when he first checked, they had 196 available. Now there are 194 left available. So if
I assume that's like a separate SKU, right? Like, so like I wonder if you do like a bundle or whatever, like if you get, I don't know. I can't. I bet they've sold more than 2.
Were they sold in a bundle with the analog module bay adapter?
I'm not sure.
Or did you have to buy it separately?
I guarantee they've sold more than 2. I would put money on the fact they sold more than 2.
All right. So looking forward to hearing more about that when they come out, but very exciting that they sold out, and hopefully more positive news for HDZero going forward. It is separate, says Afrolu, not in a bundle. So nobody was getting those analog module adapters.
I guarantee they restocked them or something. They sold more than 2. I'll put my credit on that. There's no way they sold 2. Like,
I'm going to ask Carl.
That's crazy.
Ryan Quellet. Ryan Quellet is here. Ryan Quellet is here in the chat. Ryan, do you want to tell us how many analog modules? Have you sold 2 of the analog modules? That would be good for them if he were to say, yes, nobody wants the analog modules. They all love HDZero and are buying the goggles to use with HDZero only. Ryan, if you want to comment on that, feel free. If you don't, that's fine too. Happy for sure. I don't usually do a lot of responding to chat.
2 people in our Discord said they bought it. So
that's 2. That's them. That's the 2.
3 people. So there's another one. So.
One of them's lying. Ryan Quellet says 60% of goggles sold with the analog module from his estimate.
That's a realistic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't know if they sold more than 2. I'm just asking. Questions. Isn't that what you're supposed to say? You talk shit, you make stuff up, and then when people, you say, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah. All right. Hey, look, I'm being mean to you, okay? This is bullshit. They sold more than 2.
I don't think you're being mean. I just think you're being a.
Well, I'm trying to, get an example of me. Okay. Anyway.
Give people, Okay. Ryan says about 60% of the goggles sold with it. Ryan, do you want to comment on the total number of goggles that were sold in the pre-order? We know it was at least 315.
That's true.
We know it's so. Again, I'll give him the chance to say if he wants to, and keep us on this story before we move on. Happy for sure. I don't often respond to chats like this during the news because the point of the news is not. I have Q&A live streams for that. But happy for sure. You have emailed me and messaged me and commented on my YouTube channel asking me for a review about the new RadioMaster RP3 receiver. What is it you want to know about this receiver? Is there something special about this receiver? I don't know. Tell me what you think is interesting and special about this Express Solaris receiver compared to others, or what it is you want to know. Tell me in an email, though. And it just goes to show that if you bombard me enough, eventually I will acknowledge you.
I think he says the TXCO in it, but I don't TCXO in it, but I don't remember.
Yes, that is cool. That is cool, actually. Ryan says 500 plus 100 in the beta. Okay. So 600 total.